Hi, everyone, and thank you for listening and watching uh, on our YouTube channel and on the website, if that's where you are. This is John, and I wanted to talk today about weight. Not my weight because it's too much, but anyway, I want to talk about weight as it relates to tennis uh, rackets, not players, but rackets. Um, as you know, most of our business is word of mouth, and word of mouth is extraordinarily um, useful in communicating things that are working and things that are not working. We need to have both words of mouth. We need to have both, all right? But one of the things that is consistent is the aversion to anyone hearing the word weight when it comes to their tennis racket. That's wrong, okay, to be quite frank and upfront about it. Um, Weight is necessary. The necessary weight must conform to the player, but the player, on the other hand, must conform to the weight that is going to benefit them as they begin to play. If they're not a beginner, it definitely is something that's going to help them as they are playing their normal routine matches. And this comes up all of the time, and it comes up typically with younger players that are thinking about just beginning, or maybe they're getting their first performance oriented racket. And if it's not a client that we've had before, the first thing is, well, we need to get a light racket for Susie or Jimmy. And no, no, you don't. It has to fit them, but it does not have to be a light racket. And so, what do we mean by light? Anything under 10 ounces is light. Anything between 10 and a half and 11 ounces is probably um, ideal place in which to start. So the thinking is this, and I don't know where it comes from. We are not on social media very much anymore, so we don't get involved in these discussions that are going back and forth. If we had more time, maybe we would, but um, what, the only thing we can do is react to the questions we get from the clients coming in, either the first time or routine clients have questions. They read things online and they have questions about it, and that's how we find out about what is going on in terms of social media, and some of it is mythical. Um, it's fun. It's fun. I got to tell you, it's got to be a lot of fun reading those things. We used to do it many years ago, but haven't done it for years and years. Okay, and we really don't have the time to engage very much, and that's not fair to jump in and not be in there consistently, communicating what we're talking about to a lot of people. But anyway, what we do is word of mouth, and word of mouth is working fine. But let's go back to weight a minute. Um, Today, a young man came in. I don't know his age. He's a small boy, um, and he was very interested in becoming a better tennis player. He is taking lessons. He has some skills, but he was not using a racket that could help him at all. So we, after a long conversation, we took two demo rackets out. He took, not me, but I say we as a group. He took two demo rackets out. One had a swing weight of 302. One had a swing weight of 322. Okay? that's significant in terms of inertia. Okay, so uh, we know all know what swing weight is, don't we? I mean, everybody that's listening or watching, if you don't, that's not a big deal. But swing weight is the dynamic weight of the racket as you're swinging it, typically in a shot format, not up and down, not this way, but this way. Okay, that's the inertia. The higher the inertia, the more energy is going to return to the ball. The higher the inertia, the more effort it's going to take you to get that thing moving. Okay, and we don't really want that for a youngster. We want the racket to be able to be moved, but when it does collide with the ball, we want it to do something. So he took the rackets out and came back in today. Both rackets were good. Both rackets were, um, I think, yeah, both rackets were head uh, radical and a head speed. And both were strung with Monogut ZX Pro at 55 or 56 as a reference tension. We don't use those numbers necessarily, but that is a reference tension that people can relate to. It's inaccurate in a lot of cases, but it's what we've done for years and years and years. And just to digress a second, that's why I've been hoping and working toward using string bed stiffness as the metric as opposed to reference tension. It's been going on for a long time. You know, we sort of live by numbers, and that's a number that absolutely is crucial for us. If no one else wants to use it, that's too bad. But for us and our clients, we know string bed stiffness. We know dynamic stiffness. We know effective stiffness. You know, we know that, and that's good for us, and it's essential for us, but it's also good for the player. So anyway, after having a little quick discussion, he said, "You know what? Which one I like?" And I said, "Yes, I think I do." And sure enough, it was the one with 322 swing weight, kilos per centimeter squared swing weight. And he said, well, why did you think that? And I said, well, I think based on your size, you need that racket to do something for you, right? And you're going to grow into that racket. And with that swing weight, for example, which can always be increased, you're not going to outgrow this racket, okay? You can stay with this racket for almost as long as you want to play. I don't mean just that one racket necessarily, but this racket he has in his hands, as long as he wants to play, that racket can be made to play for him. And that's important. We believe that juniors need to start with a racket that has enough weight to get the ball back across the net without them struggling with their entire body. Okay, we don't want that. We want the racket to be an extension of their arm and go through the ball and put the ball where they want it. They don't need to be out there struggling so much trying to swing a racket to get the ball to go anywhere. So think in those terms, if you will. And again, if you're a coach or a parent or a player or a young player, you know, try these things. Try rackets that are maybe what you wouldn't think that you would like. Please try them. That goes for rackets, and it goes for string, and it goes for tension. String bed stiffness, we'll call it. Okay, we'll still call it string bed stiffness, but there's a reference tension, and we all know what those numbers are, and they're not very meaningful. Except, you know, this is what you set your machine on, that number, and after that, what happens happens. Okay, so anyway, yeah, but take advantage of the fact that there are several different weight categories that will work. Weight and inertia. I mean, you can have a big weight and a lower inertia, and you can have a high inertia and a low weight. So you have to sort of have them fit to what you're trying to do. Okay? But for most of the cases, we'll have on all of our demo rackets, we have a tag with the overall weight and the swing weight. So the player using demo rackets can look and say, "Well, this is this, and this is this." Interesting. I just felt something that I didn't think I was going to feel with this one, so on and so forth. So, make a long story short, the young man has selected the. I believe he has selected the racket. We're working on it, setting up for him now, and I believe he's going to be quite happy with it for as long as he wants to stay with it, because it can always be increased. But one thing about inertia is very difficult to decrease it. So when you're thinking about rackets, make sure you know what that inertia is, and how it's going to play for you. We don't want stuff that's not easy to remedy. Okay, that's where we come in, and we can help you do that. Another quick story: an older player, not old by any means, but older than this young boy, uh, came in first time about 2 weeks ago. Again, word of mouth, and said, "I would like to have my racket restrung with this string." And it was Monogut ZX Pro, which some of her teammates are playing with. A lot of her teammates are playing with, quite frankly. And I said, "Fine, yeah, let's do it." And so we did it, and we set it up the way she wanted it. And when she picked it up, it was done. I said, this racket is a nice racket, but the swing weight is way too low. She said, "Okay, I'll take it. We'll see what happens." Okay. So a couple of days ago, I received a message. The racket is too heavy. I can't get the racket head through the ball. Okay? So I said, "Well, bring it in. We'll fix it to the extent we can." But I said, the inertia is the inertia, and I know what we can do to make it feel a little different. So she came in, and we looked at the racket. I looked at the racket, and I said, "I'll tell you what I'm going to do." And she said, "Oh, okay, fine." I said, "I'm going to put weight on this racket." She said, "No, it's too heavy." I said, "No, it's not too heavy. It's not too heavy." Now, I don't know where she got this idea, whether someone told her that it was too heavy, or I have no idea. It doesn't even matter. Okay, well, no, it's too heavy. And I said, "Well, it's not leaving here without weight on it to just confirm what you are thinking." I said, "I'll put it on, and obviously, if it doesn't work, we'll take it off. We'll figure out a way to fix it, whatever it takes." Okay. And she says, "No, I don't think so." I said, "Well, it's not leaving here without it." Okay. So anyway, make a long story shorter, is I put weight on the racket, took the inertia from 302 to 312. Okay? I said, "Here it is, and if necessary, we can take it right off. Nothing, no harm, no foul." Okay. Well, okay, I'll take it. Because I think she just wanted to get out of there. I think she was probably frustrated with the fact that I didn't necessarily agree with her. But again, today the text was, "I played with the racket. Fantastic. Thank you very much." And I thanked her for giving us the feedback. And that was, so far today, that was the end of it. But it, and unless someone, the point of this whole thing is, if someone had not virtually forced her to do it, she wouldn't have done it, and she wouldn't have got the benefit of that little bit of extra swing weight to get that racket through the ball with some gusto. Okay, so when you're thinking about weight, typically weight can be increased. Very rarely can it be decreased to the extent you really think you need it decreased. So you make sure you get the racket weight, okay, a weight that you're easy to play with, like to play with, and then the inertia, the swing weight, and even the overall weight obviously can be changed if necessary. But if you're starting with a junior, the heaviest racket they can use, and again I'm saying this, the heaviest racket they can use, not me or you or the coach, but they. And if you're a seasoned player and are struggling with something about your game, um, talk about it. Don't just say, well, I can't do this. I've got to go get a different racket, for example. Not necessarily so, but the weight and swing weight of a racket is really critical. So when you think about tennis, think about weight, not your weight, not my weight, but the weight of the racket. If you have any questions about weight and weight distribution, okay, which affects swing weight a great deal, um, please let us know. I mean, text us 407 491 4755. Go on the website and drop a comment in or a question there. Drop a comment in after viewing this on YouTube or on our site, whichever one you prefer. But do not undersell yourself when it comes to racket performance metrics. Okay, you can do more than you think you can do, and we'll help you get there. We'll help you. You help us. You tell us yes, it works. No, it was horrible. Okay, that way we learn. We go back and we can change some of the numbers we take. We're taking a lot of numbers, lots of numbers, and it helps us. And transparently, we hope it helps you, the player. So, for something you want to know about a tennis racket, um, we probably have a number for it. So, think in terms of numbers, okay? Think in terms of playing tennis. Think in terms of playing tennis well, okay? Well, thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't watch while you're driving. Capiche? Bye bye. Thanks.